uh, themselves muted. For even the Mishaberach, we will have you write into the chat later. I'm going to turn it over now to Bruce Kors to welcome, and then I know Cantor will have an opening song.
Shabbat Shalom, everyone. It's nice to see everyone here in the Zoom room, and those of you that are watching the live stream and on Facebook as well. Hope you're all staying warm. Wouldn't this have been a great night for a park and pray, huh? Oh, the Cantor just gave me a look. Our thought of a shivering Shabbat tonight would have been a frozen solid Shabbat. We would have turned into pillars of ice in our parking lot. Some of you, by the way, have been asking me this week, that you've seen that the governor has lifted the orange and yellow zones, and we're back to kind of where we were last summer, and have been asking me, what does that mean for us? And at the moment, I just want everyone to know it doesn't mean anything yet. We, our worship committee will be meeting next week to be discussing things, but until things are further along, we are definitely going to continue to err on the side of caution and continue doing what we're doing. This is working very well. And when the opportunity presents itself, when we think it's safe to be back in the sanctuary, we'll believe me, we'll let you know, but I wouldn't anticipate it anytime soon. We will always continue to keep your safety top of mind for us. So Shabbat Shalom, everyone. And I'll be back later with the announcements. We got a lot of interesting stuff coming up, so stay tuned for that.
This service, by the way, is dedicated to Tu B'Shvat, and that's the theme throughout. This is also Shabbat Shirah, which is the Shabbat where we cross the sea. So it's a really cool combination. And I know a lot of what Cantor will be doing in terms of songs will be dedicated to Tu B'Shvat. All right, so I will explain it during my portion, and I will explain what Tu B'Shvat is.
Hope you'll sing along. Ashkeli aporacha, b'shemesh pasuracha, ziporim merosh korgan, mivasrot et bohechag, Tu b'shvat egia, chakai ilano, Tu b'shvat egia, chakai ilano, Tu b'shvat egia, chakai ilano, Tu b'shvat egia, chakai ilano. The almond tree is growing, the golden sun is glowing, the birds sing out in joyous glee from every roof and every tree. Tu B'Shvat is here, the Jewish Arbor Day. Hail the trees, New Year, happy holiday. Tu B'Shvat is here, the Jewish Arbor Day. Hail the trees, New Year, happy holiday.
It's so nice to look out at spring. You have to remember in Israel, this is actually during the rainy season, and things start to sprout just about this time. So we're going to turn over to candle lighting now as we bring in Shabbat. It's been a momentous week. Let's think back on it. I know there's a number of people I saw that had birthdays just over the course of the week. I just want to send a shout out. I know Jennifer Kane had a recent birthday, and Sheila Bernard Tucker's grandchildren also had recent birthdays. So happy birthday to them. So I'm going to turn over to Cantor to say the blessing over the candles.
Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, Shabbat.
Blessed are the candles that light our way on Shabbat. And Cantor's going to get her Kiddush wine. Wonderful, as we sanctify the day of Shabbat.
Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, borei peri hagafen. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kiddeshanu b'mitzvotav v'ratzavanu, v'shabbat kodsho be'ahava uvratzon inchilanu. Zikaron lema'aseh bereshit, ki hu yom techila lemikveh kodesh, zecher yetziat mitzrayim. Kivanu v'acharta, v'yotanu kedashta, mikol ha'amim, v'shabbat kodshecha, be'ahava uv'ratzon hinchaltanu. Baruch atah Adonai, mekadesh haShabbat.
L'chaim. Looks like a good vintage there. So let us move on with our Shabbat service. And I think that we're ready to welcome in Shabbat with L'chadodi. We are going to sing the first and the last verse. On the last verse, we rise and we face whatever doorway we have as we welcome Shabbat into our room.
L'chadodi likrat kala, l'shabbat kabela. L'chadodi likrat kala, b'nei Shabbat nikabela. L'chadodi likrat kala, b'nei Shabbat nikabela. L'chadodi likrat kala, b'nei Shabbat nikabela. Sha'amor v'zachor b'dibor echad, השמיענו את המיוחד, אדוני אחד, שמו אחד, לשמו תפארת ולתחילה. Sing with me. לך דודי, לך דודי לקרא קלה, בני שבת נקבלה. לך דודי לקרא קלה, בני שבת נקבלה. בואי ושלום עטרת בלה, גם בשמחה ובצהלה, תוך אמוני עם סגולה. בואי כלה, בואי כלה. לך דודי, לך דודי לקרא כלה, בני שבת נקבלה. לך דודי לקרא כלה, בני שבת נקבלה.
Wonderful. So good to see everyone singing. I hope and encourage that you should do so. Of course, I sat down, but we're ready for the Baruch Hu, our call to prayer. So we'll stand just as the trees are in the picture.
2, 3, 4. La 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 la, la 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 la, la 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 la, la la la, la 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 la, la 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 la, la 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 la.
about like the trees, and let's sing about love, the love of God, love of one another, and Ahavat Olam.
1, 2, 3. Ahavat Olam v'et Yisrael Amcha אתה Torah ומצוות חוקים ומשפטים אותנו לימדת על כן אדוני אלוהינו שוכבנו ובקומנו נשיח בחוקיך ונשמח בדברי תורתך ובמצוותיך לעולם ועד כי הם חיינו ואורך ימינו ובהם נהגה יומם ולילה.
Baruch atah Adonai ohev amo Yisrael. We turn to the Shema.
2, 3, 4. Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad. 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 Baruch shinkevod malkuto leolam vaed. Baruch shinkevod malkuto leolam vaed. Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad. Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad.
You may be seated as we turn to the V'ahavta.
ואהבת את אדוני אלוהיך בכל לבבך ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודך. והיו הדברים האלה אשר אנוכי מצווך היום על לבבך ושיננת לבניך ודיברת בם בשבתך בביתך ובלכתך בדרך ובשוכבך ובקומך וקשרת להיות ידיך והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך וכתבתם המזוזות ביתך ובשעריך למען תזכרו עשיתם את כל מצוותיי והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם. אני אדוני אלוהיכם אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים להיות לכם אלוהים. אני אדוני אלוהיכם.
Please join with me. Give us a place to rest, Adonai our God. Bring us into shelter in the soft, long evening shadows of your truth. With you, our true protection and safety. In your presence, our acceptance and gentle love. Watch over us as we go forth. Prepare for us as we return. Spread over us your shelter of peace over all we love, over our Jerusalem and yours. Baruch atah Adonai Pores Sukkot Shalom Aleinu v'al kol amo Yisrael v'al Yerushalayim. Oh, let's bring a little joy in with Yismechu.
sing it with me or clapping. Yismechu v'malakutcha shomre 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 Shabbat v'koreyonek Shabbat. Yismechu v'malakutcha shomre 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 Shabbat v'koreyonek Shabbat. מקדשי שבי שבת, כולם ישמחו ויתענגו מטובך השבת. ישמחו במלכותך שומרי 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 שבת וקוראי שבת. ישמחו במלכותך שומרי 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 שבת וקוראי שבת. רצית בו וקידשת שבת, חמדות ירבים אותו קראת שבת. שבת ישמחו מלכותך שומרי 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 שבת וקוראי שבת. ישמחו במלכותך שומרי 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 שבת וקוראי שבת. זכר למעשה וראשית שבת. זכר למעשה וראשית שבת. שבת ישמחו במלכותך שומרי 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 שבת וקוראי שבת. ישמחו במלכותך שומרי 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 שבת וקוראי
Beautiful. I wish we were together for that. We're going to take some time now for our private prayers and devotions. You can take time. You can turn off your video or keep it on. Take a couple of minutes for yourself to pray the prayers that you need from your heart. And we'll come back together now. We know that God is listening and listening to your prayers as we sing Oseh Shalom.
Shalom b'roma, hu yaseh shalom aleinu. Aseh shalom b'roma, hu yaseh shalom aleinu. Aseh shalom b'roma, hu yaseh shalom aleinu. Yaseh shalom, yaseh shalom, shalom.
So wonderful to see all the clapping. Steve Hurwitz, I wish I could clap like you. That is wonderful. It's great. I never mastered the art, but we're going to turn now to our healing prayer. And I'm going to get our list. Nancy McGorry prepares in our office. If you have names that you want to offer today, instead of calling them out, I'm going to encourage you to write them in this chat if you feel comfortable. Just go to the bottom of the screen. I see Terry DeBruin already did that. So I'll read those after I read our main list here. We're thinking about Lee Applebaum, Andrew Joseph Bernard, Michael Berwick, Cantor Sharon Colbert, Arthur Giuseppe, Sydney Ehrenreich, Gabe Ferber, Dave Gajewski, Nancy Herzbrunn, Evan Kavanaugh, Charles Lemansky, Kathy Mass, Richard Radis, David Sapphire, Martin and Barbara Scher, Diane Simon, Cindy Waygate, Gail Willig Smith, Lorenza Stewart, Iris Weinstein, Talia Hadas Bet Rivka, Naomi Bat Sadie, Yaakov Raphael, Hannah Ezra Ben Shuel, Avram Ben Moshe, Malka Bat Naftali, Kayla Bat Miriam, Lev Hirsch, and David Ben Masha. We also have in our chat room Tom Wolf, Emily and Jerry Tennant, Richie Merlot, Nancy Logvin, and Paul Bookbinder, and Dr. D. Vizcara. So we'll bring all those names into our hearts as Cantor will sing and Mike will sing the Misha Berach.
2, 3, 4. Misha Berach Avotenu Mikol HaBracha Imotenu. May the source of strength who bless the ones before us help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say Amen. Misha Berach Imotenu Mikol HaBracha Lavotenu. Bless those in need of healing with refuah shlema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say Amen.
A complete healing of body and soul. So look at this beautiful, beautiful picture that Cantor found somewhere on the web, which is advice from a tree. It's kind of hard at this time of year to think about Tu B'Shvat. Again, in Israel, this is the rainy season. So the first buds are starting to poke through the ground. But here, all we have is a layer of snow covering everything. And I know Cantor knows, but underneath the snow is what gives rise to the plants. It really protects the plants during the winter. So as cold as it seems, it's actually much warmer underneath where the plants can really sustain themselves. So you see these wonderful different pieces. We want the tree to drink plenty of water, just like we should. I know Shira always tells me to. Enjoy the view, stops to smell the flowers. Let others enjoy your shade. Always remember your roots and stand tall and proud. So I'm going to ask the Cantor to take down her screen share. And we're actually going to go over what Tu B'Shvat is. Because we're on a Zoom room, it gives us an opportunity to present things in a whole different way. And this is a presentation I actually made to our religious school students to explain about Tu B'Shvat. But Cantor and I were talking about it, and we thought it would be great also just to go over some of the basics of the holiday. And it's actually one of the least known ones. So I'm going to now share my screen, and we'll see how this goes. All right, what is Tu B'Shvat? Let's see. First of all, what is Tu? Okay, so we're going to break it down into different sections. And 2 is actually a number. And if you look, here is the Hebrew system. Our normal numerical system doesn't come about into the Middle Ages, originally from the Hindus and the Muslims. So they were reliant on letters. And here you can see, you start off with Aleph, and the first 10 letters through Yud go to 10. Then it goes from 20 all the way to 100 by tens. And then we skip 100, 300, 400. Anybody wonder, how do you form the ones in between? If we know what 1 is, how would you do 11 or 12? So this is actually a little game. I'll put it into the chat function if you were interested for later. But here we have, this is what happens if you wanted to count after, not by tens, but by ones after 10. What you do is you take the Yud and then you add an Aleph. So 10 plus 1 is 11, 10 plus 2 is 12, 10 plus 3 is 13, 10 plus 4 is 14. And if it was the 20s, Kaf, you would do the same exact thing. The question is, what do you do with 15 and 16? And let me explain what the problem is. Normally, if you count your letters, Aleph, Bet, Gimel, Daled, Hey, you would have Yud, Hey. And those of you familiar with God's name is Yud, Hey, Vav, Hey. So the next 2 ones are a little more confusing. So what they do is, instead of going to the 10 plus the 5, they go to the 9 plus the 6 and the 9 plus the 7. So 2 is actually a set of numbers for 15, which is Tet plus Vav, making that. All right, so next, what is the B? And that is the preposition. Hebrew words, there is a preposition. I'm so sorry, my dog is barking in the middle, of course. So just give us 1 second here. That's our little puppy, Nava. She thinks she's a wolf here. So the prepositions, we have Lamed, Bet, and Kaf. Those are the most standard ones. And Ba, in this case, means the 15th of. Okay, so that's where that is. And what is Shvat? Well, here is the Hebrew month cycle, originally from the Babylonian months. And you can see over here, Tishrei is the beginning of our year, or Rosh Hashanah. Cheshvan, Kislev, Tevet, and now we're at Shvat. And the Hebrew year, the way it lines up, is that it can go anywhere from February to January. We're currently in the earlier part of the cycle. And so we're still in the end of January here. It was yesterday, actually. Okay, so there are actually in the Talmud 4 new years in the Jewish calendar. You might say, Rabbi, how could there be 4 Jewish years? We know the Jewish year, it's Rosh Hashanah. Well, when you think about New Year's, actually, there are a number of New Years in addition to January 1st on our normal calendar. I know Bruce knows very well the fiscal New Year is a very important New Year. Any teachers among us know about the start of the school year. And we also have a tax year, April 15th, that we're already getting ready for. And so there actually are a number of years. So we have the first of Nisan, which in the Torah was actually the beginning of the year. This is the New Year of Kings. This is when kings would transition over from one king to the next. It would be the start of their reign. But it is also when the Exodus happens, what we're reading about now, because Nisan is the month of Passover. We have Elul, which is the month before Tishrei, before Rosh Hashanah. And that's when cattle taxes would come due, because that's when the cattle was being birthed and you'd have to pay up. We have Tishrei that you know, which is the New Year of the world, or Rosh Hashanah. And then the odd one out of the bunch, which is the 15th of the month. It's usually either going to be the 1st of the month or the 15th of the month, because the 15th of the month is when the full moon is. And this is the New Year of the trees. Lastly, I'll show you the different species in Israel. This was very important. We were a land flowing of milk and honey. Some of you will recognize, I know a lot of you, I quizzed the kids about this, but here we have wheat, grapes, of course, barley, figs, pomegranates, olives, and dates. And those are the 7 different species that are in Israel and what gives us sustenance from there. So I'm going to stop my screen here. If you had any questions, you could put it in the chat, but we wanted to kind of give you an overview of what the holiday is. It actually didn't become much of a holiday at all because it was just a tax day until the time of the Kabbalists. And the Kabbalists looked at all things, even taxes, and they said, wow, there's a mystical quality. And so they started having Tu B'Shvat Seders. And these were small little groupings where you could eat the different nuts and fruits from the Holy Land. And then during the 1960s, it became an environmentally focused holiday with a lot of the environmentalists embracing it. So it's the kind of holiday that was never really a holiday, but we've made it more of a holiday today because of our focus on the natural world and also our return to Israel. So I'm going to turn it now to Cantor. I think we have some songs and as we get to the rest of the service.
So Rabbi, we were just going to continue on with the service, and then we have a special song at the end called The Planting Song by Jeffrey Klepper.
Right, yeah, and you'll explain more about that then. So why don't we rise? Thank you, Cantor. We'll rise for Aleinu. It's not enough for us just to pray. We have to go do good things in this world.
Aleinu l'shabeach l'adon hakol, לתת גדולה ליוצר בראשית, שלא עשנו כגויי הארצות, ולא שמנו כמשפחות האדמה, שלא שם חלקנו כהם, וגורלנו ככל המונם, ואנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים ומודים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים הקדוש ברוך הוא, ונאמר והיה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ ביום ההוא, ביום ההוא יהיה אדוני ושמו
You may be seated. So Cantor has a poem here, and this is by Barbara Hollander. Barbara was a poet friend of mine here. She only learned poetry when she was late in life, in her 60s almost. And this is a beautiful poem from her collection, Our Last Best Perfect Day. It was unfortunately poetry that came after one of her grandchildren died tragically. But she's also known for The Ladies of Genesis, which came out in 1991, is one of the first real works of poetry about all the women from the Tanakh. So I'm going to read this in honor of Barbara, who I definitely will be missing. Sorry, I have to meet it. I'll read it from the book. Just give me 1 second. Let's see. A message for my children. I will be busy when I die, leaving messages in several languages along your possible paths, clues you may not understand but will recognize as mine, and therefore meant to encourage. I will never be done with this world. I will leave my tracks not to follow, but to know when you feel most at risk. No life is entirely without precedent. You will find me when you least expect, in your words and gestures, and with the years in your morning face in the mirror. My leave taking will be a leave giving. Take to yourselves what possessed me. The tree of life cries out, eat, eat, be hungry. That was definitely Barbara's attitude in life. She was always trying to get every last drop, and she did until she died peacefully in her bed in Weinberg. So I'm going to read the other names on our list as we turn to the mourner's Kaddish. Eva Gluckman, who is Dan Kester's aunt. Donna Heitner, the sister of Barry Heitner, who died this week after a long illness. Patricia Nightinger, the sister-in-law of Mark Nightinger, and Dave Rose, our maintenance worker, who also died this past week. This is very tragic for our whole staff, and our thoughts and prayers with his family. For Shloshim, we are remembering Rosalind Foss-Gerard, Helene Goldfarb, Eileen Haber, Thaddeus Hennessy, Jean Hubush, Estelle Leonard, Harry Mann, Natalie Miller, Helene Smolin, and Paula Ann Witherell. On our yardstick list from years past, we remember Herman Alt, Dr. Alexander Block, Nello Capone, Sarah Cohen, Max Kovit, Betty Ellis, Herman Feller, Paul Friedman, Rabbi Nathan Gaynor, David Gellin, Ann Gilden, Lawrence Goldberg, Philip Hurwitz, Elsa Hutner, Robert H. Jacobson, Sidney Klein, Sarah Kuznets, Frieda Lieberman, Charles Mackler, Lester Max, Ellen L. Markel, Sylvia Martz, Eli Mitnick, Bella Morris, Sarah Polonitskaya, Harry Posterman, Clayton Robinson, Morris Schnittman, Max Schulafan, Leah N. Schweitzer, Hannah Seitz, Dora Shapoznikoff, Myron Simon, George Swadron, May Trippy, Robert Unher, Yetta Wakeoff, Susan Whaley, Cantor Susan Whaley, and Dr. Leonard Zumbach. Oh, I didn't even remember. Her yard site is coming up so soon, in the English date in February the 13th. So I encourage you, those of you who are mourning, whose custom it is to rise, and we'll recite the mourner's Kaddish together. Yitkadal, v'yitkadash, shemei rabbah, v'yalma divrach hiratei, v'yamlik malkutei, v'chayachon v'yamachon, v'chayei l'chol beit Yisrael, v'agala v'zman kariv, yimru amen. Yehei shmei rabbah, v'barach le'olam al mei amayah. Yitbarak, v'yishtabak, v'yipa'ar, v'yitramam v'yitnaseh, v'yitadar, v'yitalev, v'yitalal, shemei l'kudashah, b'richu. Le'olam min kol berchata v'shirata, Tushbechata v'nechamata, Amiram v'alma v'yimru amen. Yehei shlema rabba min shemaya. Chayim alena v'al kol Yisrael v'yimru amen. Oseh shalom v'yimramav. Hu yaseh shalom. Alena v'al kol Yisrael v'al kol Yoshvei Tevel v'yimru amen. May God grant peace to those who mourn and those who are bereaved, and to our world. And we say amen. And we're going to turn it over now to Bruce Chorus to offer our announcements for the week.
Shabbat Shalom again, everyone. Very special thank you to Rabbi Alex Cantor Frank and Mike Frank for a very warm service on a very cold night. This is so important that we can be together like this. Special thanks also to the rabbi's dog. Have you ever noticed that the rabbi's dog only interrupts the rabbi's sermon? He never barks during the announcements. The dog is very well trained. I like that dog. Happy Tu B'Shvat, everyone, the Jewish Arbor Day. In honor of Tu B'Shvat, we have planted a tree in Israel in honor of the rabbi and the cantor. Their day to water it is Tuesday. Sorry, it's an old joke. For those of you that would like to have a service leaflet to follow, oh, see, Marcia Bougie was smiling at that one. She always laughs at my jokes. For those of you that would like to have a service leaflet to follow along, like for the Yortzeit list and stuff like that, all you have to do each Friday night is go to our website, go click here to watch our services, scroll down to Erev Shabbat service leaflet for that night, print it out, and you have it. We are still in the process of upgrading our social media platforms so that we can make everyone very comfortable choices. Please bear with us as we do, because it's a learning process for us. Tomorrow morning, we will have Torah study at 9 a.m., the Shabbat morning service with SAJ congregation from New York City. That will be at 10 a.m. Both events are via Zoom. The website will have the link. There is a religious school Sunday morning. Please contact Inav Simons, our religious school director, if you have any questions. Super Bowl is a week from Sunday. We, of course, will not care about the Super Bowl this year here in Buffalo, other than maybe to root against certain players. But we do have rooting interests in our Super Bowl squares. The Super Bowl squares are back. You saw the email that went out. There is still time to send your form in. We'll assign squares and see how it goes. We need the forms and the checks by Wednesday, February 3rd. So please do so. Super Bowl squares are always a lot of fun. Next Friday night, we will have candle lighting at 6:45 p.m. Erev Shabbat service at 7. That is a Team Spirit Blue Jean Shabbat. So that'll be a lot of fun. That's at 7, and you will need to register for that. Then at 8 o'clock, we're going to have a virtual Oneg, and that one you do not need to register for. So 3 separate Zoom events. Again, we're going to go Zoom, Zoom, Zoom all over the place. The men's group will be meeting this Wednesday night at 7:30 p.m. We have a guest speaker, a baseball pitcher named Jonathan DeMarte. He is a member of the Israeli Olympic baseball team for the 2020 Tokyo Summer Games, which were not held in the summer of 2020, but are hopefully going to take place this summer. And he has a minor league contract with the Chicago Cubs. Interestingly enough, Renee Klein, who is a member of our temple, a member of Women of Shir Shalom, her son Aaron works for the Chicago Cubs. So double connection there. Anyway, he is a dual U.S.-Israeli citizen. He's going to talk about baseball and being on the Israeli Olympic baseball team, a Jewish professional athlete. He is one of, I believe, 3 in the entire world. It should be a fascinating conversation. Hey, Purim is coming. Be sure to find your costume and your mask, because on Wednesday, February 24th, between 5 and 5:30 p.m., we will have a drive-through Hamantaschen box pickup. You must register for that by February 12th. On Thursday, February 25th, we will release the Megillah reading. And then that night, 7 o'clock p.m., Oy, will it be a Megillah? It is this year's Purim Spiel via Zoom. It is an entirely Zoom spiel. It is live. We will be going from box to box to box to box. We have a cast of thousands. It's going to be a hoot. So please join us for that. Oh my God, we have so much special stuff coming up. On Friday, February 12th, we have Scout Shabbat. That will be done via Zoom. The Jewish Scouts will join us in uniform and participate in the Erev Shabbat service. The Women of Shir Shalom are participating in Hadassah's Shabbat across the region by hosting a Havdalah service on Saturday, February 20th at 6:30 p.m. We have so much good stuff coming up. No wonder we're the cool shul. We just have so much great stuff. If you need anything at all, please feel free to reach out to the rabbi, the cantor, Joanne, or myself. If it's off hours, always Joanne. If it's 3 a.m, call her. That's okay. We're always here. Seriously, we are always here for you. Have a wonderful Shabbat. Have a great weekend. There is no Oneg tonight, but again, we're going to stay on Zoom for a little bit when the service ends, just so we can schmooze with each other for a minute or two. Thank you again for being part of our Shir Shalom family. Shabbat Shalom, everyone.
Bruce, there's one more thing.
There is what?
Yeah, on February 19th, we're having a synagogue come and join us on Zoom. Temple Beth Emmanuel. Joanne, do you remember the name of Cantorina? I don't know if anyone remembers when Cantorina came to visit last year. Her synagogue.
Oh, cool. February 19th. See, more stuff. More cool stuff.
Samuel Jewish Center. Beth Samuel Jewish Center.
Excellent. Cool. Thank you.
And Bruce, I was wondering, since we have to plant the tree, have you bought us tickets to Israel? Yetzer and I will be.
No, but I bought you a watering can.
we're going to turn, I'm going to let Cantor explain the next song because it's really close to her heart, she was telling me.
A great Tu B'Shvat song written by Jeffrey Clipper, and I hope you will sing along. You'll catch on, it's a really easy tune. There are plants and trees that give us nearly everything we need. But don't forget they started out as tiny little seeds. You can throw them in the air, or you can hold them in your hand. But someday those tiny seeds will grow and trees will fill the land. So plant a little seed, plant it in the ground, and the seed will grow as the seasons flow, with branches all around. And the seed will grow as the seasons flow, with branches all around. In the Torah it is written, when we saw the promised land, we planted trees at every turn, 'cause this was God's command. And today in modern Israel, where they made the desert blue, in such a tiny country, for a tree there's always room. So plant a little seed, plant it in the ground, and the seed will grow as the seasons flow, with branches all around. And the seed will grow as the seasons flow, with branches all around. In the Talmud is a story written many years ago, that every plant has a special star to teach it how to grow. If you happen to be planting and someone comes along, finish what you're doing and together sing this song. So plant a little seed, plant it in the ground, and the seed will grow as the seasons flow, with branches all around. And the seed will grow as the seasons flow, with branches all around.
Wonderful. And we have pictures from our sanctuary there. And Joanne, do you have your challah tonight?
I do.
Wonderful. Oh, gorgeous.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam hamotzi lechem min haaretz. Amen.
Hey, Avon, as you came in peace, may you leave in peace. We're so grateful that you joined us, whether you were on our Zoom or whether you're on YouTube, Facebook, or Boxcast. For those of you that are on the Zoom, we encourage you to stay after the broadcast is over, and we'll spend a little time together and be able to schmooze, and you can unmute then.